Heads up, y'all, Disney Springs has new rules you need to follow if you want to have a smooth and uneventful trip to Disney World. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog, and I've got some new Disney Springs rules to go over with you. Okay, don't be rolling your eyes at me. I promise they're not bad or hard to follow. You just need to know about them before you go, so you're kept in the know. We'll also be tossing in some DFB rules along with the real deal items, just so you know what the team and I always do when we're in Disney Springs. I love the Open Table hack. Makes my life 10 times easier before I make my way over to Disney Springs. But in case you're not familiar with what that is, basically this is a website where you can make advanced dining reservations for thousands and thousands of different restaurants all over the world, including many of the ones around Disney Springs. While you can always book advanced dining reservations for pretty much any table service on Disney World property through the My Disney Experience app and the Disney World website, there's always the chance that reservations can book up solid for the more popular restaurants. But since many of the Disney Springs restaurants are owned and operated by a third party, i.e. not Disney, reservations can also be made for lots of them over on OpenTable.com, giving you those backdoor reservations just in case you need them. Now, here's the catch. OpenTable itself is a reliable website, but because all these restaurants have their own set of rules, they may operate differently with an OpenTable reservation versus if you were just to book them through the My Disney Experience app. For example, some restaurants allow you to start booking reservations before the 60-day window that Disney has set in place. Some restaurants don't have that 15 minutes of wiggle room where you're allowed to be running a little late and may cancel your reservation within the 5-minute time frame that you're not there. And no-show policies can be different too. While most Disney restaurants are going to charge you $10 per person under the reservation for a no-show fee, no-show fees vary among Disney Springs restaurants and could either be pricier or non-existent. Fortunately, OpenTable is going to send you an email detailing your reservation once you've booked it, and you can sign up for text message updates if you want them too. So read the fine print and familiarize yourself with the OpenTable rules ahead of time so you know what to expect that's maybe different from what the My Disney Experience app wants you to expect. It's so easy to plan a full day on Disney World property without having to spend an extra dime on theme park tickets. So easy, actually, that the DFB team and I put our heads together to come up with a full non-park Disney Day itinerary for you, which you can pick up for free right now by scanning the QR code you see on the screen or by clicking on the link in the description for disneyfoodblog.com/resort day after this. I am almost ashamed to talk about this point because I guarantee you that I will neglect my own rule again at some point in the future. Maybe even during my next Disney Springs trip, which is like day after tomorrow. Who knows? But do as I say, not as I do. Whether you're traveling by Disney bus or by your own set of wheels, give yourself an extra hour of time to get to Disney Springs, especially if you have a dining reservation that you're trying to make. Why? Well, first, there's the Orlando traffic. That's always fun. There might also be the extra bit of time where you'll actually have to wait for your bus to show up and pick you up, which might take even longer if you're trying to catch a bus in the afternoon when the Disney buses aren't picking up guests over at the resorts nearly as frequently. But if you're driving, there's also parking that you need to think about, and while there's plenty of places to park around the Springs, the parking garages still have the tendency to fill up, particularly on the weekend nights. Then, once you're there, either by bus or car, you'll have to navigate those security checkpoints, which can have unexpected lines. Finally, the sheer size of Disney Springs alone could mean that you're walking an extra 15 to 20 minutes before you finally reach the restaurant you've made reservations for. Again, that all depends on where you parked. So, yeah. You know that old phrase, it's about the journey, not the destination? Doesn't apply to Disney Springs. I wish I could just teleport to my destination here, but alas, that technology has not yet been invented. And if you're like me and you're not planning on learning this lesson the easy way, listen, I love my snooze button, then there may come a time when you've got to make rush plans to accommodate late Disney Springs dining reservations. In those cases, you're going to want to use the following Plan Bs. 1, try modifying your reservation through the My Disney Experience app if you can. This should be possible up to 2 hours before your scheduled dining time. So if you're at a Disney park and you know you're going to be late for that Disney Springs dining reservation, go ahead and make the switch over as soon as you can. 2, call the restaurant directly. I have had to do this before many times, and for the most part, the restaurants are pretty cool and understanding and might just automatically push you to a later dining reservation anyways. Because a lot of these are third-party restaurants, you should be able to Google the restaurant phone number easily enough. Just keep in mind that some restaurants have set phone times where they'll actually pick up, so if you're calling too early or too late, you might be greeted by an automatic voice instead of a human. And 3, if you booked through OpenTable rather than through Disney, use their app to modify or cancel your reservation. Keep in mind that if you no-show for an OpenTable reservation too many times, they'll basically ban you from using the service, another major difference between an OpenTable and My Disney Experience. So definitely cancel if you can. So this is a question we get a lot in our YouTube comments. Wait, can't you take a bus from Disney Springs to another Disney park? Nope, you can't. The only, and I mean the only park that a Disney Springs bus will transfer to is Disney's Blizzard Beach water park. Otherwise, all the bus transportation at Disney Springs is going to be for all the different Disney hotels. So getting to a Disney park from Disney Springs or vice versa just by using Disney's free transportation alone can be a lengthy endeavor because you're going to have to switch buses at least once. Now, if you want to skip the resort middleman while you're traveling, it's best to just take your own car between a park and the shopping district, or you can always book a rideshare service like Uber or Lyft to help you skip the resort transfer too. There are 2 potential rideshare drop-off points at Disney Springs. This is also important because this is very confusing. One is near Disney's Wonderful World of Memories over in the Marketplace section way at the side, and the other is behind the Drawn to Life building on the west side way on the other side. So if you want to catch a rideshare in the middle of Disney Springs, that ain't happening. Go to either side. Okay, so let's say you're at Disney Springs, and at the very last second you decide that, yeah, you actually would like to eat at one of the many table service locations here. There's always the possibility that you're going to find last-minute reservations popping up on the My Disney Experience app, but if you need a little extra help finding that same-day dining, Disney Springs actually quietly rolled out a new service starting this summer that makes grabbing a last-minute table a little bit easier and less stressful. If you enter the Springs via the orange parking garage, you're going to find Disney set up a same-day dining info podium where you can find a cast member ready to help you find a table whenever you're ready to start looking for one. No need to wander around aimlessly checking menus and wait times on your phone. This cast member can tell you exactly which restaurants have same-day availability and help you grab a spot fast. The best part? This podium's clearly marked, so you're not going to miss it if you're wandering around this area. Just walk up, ask what's open, and boom, you're on your way to a proper sit-down meal and a bunch of AC without needing a time machine to go back and make a reservation 2 months ago. This is technically a rule across all Disney World property, but it's really going to bite you in the behind if you're traveling over to Disney Springs from the Orlando International Airport. So let me back up. Last year, a new public bus route called Link 311 made it easier to get from Disney World to the Orlando Airport and vice versa for the flat rate of $2 per person, making it the cheapest way to get to and from Disney property by far, at least from the airport. Well, almost the cheapest way. But once you get to Disney Springs, you're gonna have to get yourself to your actual hotel, right? And the only way to do that for free are the Disney buses. But Disney does not want you to bring your luggage onto the Disney buses. Backpacks are fine, so if you're just packing everything in your personal item or carry-on, you're good to go. But luggage? There's a very good chance that Disney's bus drivers won't allow you on board with it. Now, we have recently tested this no luggage on the Disney buses strategy with our awesome DFB reporting team, and the conclusion to our experiment was not what we expected. In some cases, we weren't allowed to board, and in other cases, we were asked to go through Disney Springs security checkpoint first to have our luggage thoroughly checked. I think maybe during less busy times of the day, the no luggage rule might be a little more lenient since Disney doesn't have to worry about guest demand, but I definitely wouldn't gamble with that. So if you're traveling on board the Lynx, which will drop you off at Disney Springs and Disney Springs only, what are you supposed to do if you've got all this luggage that you're toting around? Well, it's back to the rideshare drawing board. While a Lynx trip can save you money initially, you still will probably need to book a rideshare service the rest of the way to your Disney hotel from Disney Springs if you've got a whole bunch of luggage in tow. So in the end, might not be all that more expensive to just schedule a Mears Connect shuttle to take you from MCO to your resort, or to just book a rideshare to take you straight on over with no extra transfers necessary. At the very least, either of those alternative methods will more than likely be more convenient than the Lynx bus can provide. Remember how I said earlier that there are plenty of places to park in Disney Springs? I mean it. The Lime and the Orange Garage are the most popular locations. Lime's gonna spit you out in the middle of Town Square next to the Polite Pig, while Orange will take you over to the west side between Splitsville and the AMC Theater. There's also a Grapefruit Garage, but that one's not usually available and is more for overflow parking if need be. Then you've got the Strawberry and Watermelon parking lots, which are both on the west side and nearest to the Drawn to Life Cirque du Soleil Theater. So lots of parking, which is great, but it is easy to get turned around in this shopping district, especially if you're not overly familiar with it. So don't forget to keep track of where you've parked before you dive headfirst into your fun-filled day of shopping and dining. You can either do this the old-fashioned way by taking a picture of the level and the lot and the number you're parked at, or you can use the My Disney Experience app's car locator option, which will save all your parking info for you. To use the car locator, tap on the 3 bars at the bottom of the app's screen to pull up the full menu of options. Then scroll down to the Getting Around section, which will have the car locator app function. Tap on this and you'll be led to a page that says Save Vehicle Location and follow the prompts from there. Keep in mind that in order for the feature to work best, you will need to enable location services, Bluetooth, and notifications on your phone. Sometimes it's easier to just take a picture. Over the past few years, a lot of content creators have popped up on the Disney scene, and if you're new to Disney content creation, or you're just really dedicated to getting the perfect video or photo angle, I do have to warn you that giant tripods and or monopod stands are a no-go around Disney World, even in the Springs. Now let me be clear here, all tripods and monopods aren't flat out banned, just the big ones. Basically, if you can't fit it comfortably in your backpack, it'll probably be best to leave it home. And in regard to selfie sticks, well, those are flat out banned no matter how well they fit in your backpack. So get used to extending your arm way out for a good angle of everybody, or just ask someone to snap a quick photo of the whole family. People are usually pretty cool about that. The DFB team and I are always on the hunt for a good Disney dining tip that y'all will be able to use not just for one trip, but for several. That's why we keep our DFB guide to Walt Disney World dining over at dfbstore.com updated all year long, so you don't have to stress over getting a book that's outdated. And because we're always on the hunt for good Disney dining tips, we tend to come across some interesting hidden gems that we don't want to keep hidden from you because y'all deserve to know the truth. That being said, I'm going to spill the tea on the best places to sit inside and outside 8 popular Disney Springs restaurants so you'll know what to specifically be on the lookout for. Now, keep in mind that if you're checking in for a table service reservation, table requests aren't a guarantee, but they do help improve your chances of getting the seats you want. At the Boathouse, the coolest place to sit in this surf and turf restaurant is inside a boat. Legitimately! You'll spot the boat table right as you enter the restaurant. Promise, you can't miss it. And on the back of the boat, there's even a little extra bar-style seating which will place you directly behind the host stand. At STK Orlando, I've learned to always request a rooftop table, especially if I'm coming here in the evening. I've just never been big on the whole loud party music inside a restaurant Vegas-y scene, so dining inside STK for dinner has never really been my cup of tea. However, the rooftop is comparatively quieter than the main dining rooms. Plus, it's got a sweeping view of all the Disney Springs action. At Homecoming, I really like everywhere here, but the window side table right next to the water inside the enclosed patio section makes you feel like you're hanging out on a quaint southern porch. At Wine Bar George, I love those small tables located on the second floor balcony. This is another spot which gives a nice bird's eye view vantage point across this particular section of the Springs and has some great people watching. At the Edison, the funkiest perch of all can be found on the upper level of this steampunk style restaurant. Specifically, the tables that hug the railing on the upper level are going to give you a nice view of the grand staircase, the lower bar, and the stage show that might be happening down below. At Maria and Enzo's, the best seats of the bunch at this Italian restaurant are located in a central booth next to the tree in the heart of the dining room. It's just the most immersive area, in my opinion, giving you a great 360-degree view of all the mid-century airport terminal theming. I know it sounds random, and it is, but just roll with it. At Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar, located in the back of the main bar area, there's a diving bell booth that just really makes you feel special if you're able to snag it before anyone else can. And finally, at Morimoto Asia, any seat that you can get near the open kitchen is a treat. It's like dinner and a show. Upstairs at the sushi counter of Morimoto Asia, you can get front row seats to all the seafood action and watch the chefs work their culinary magic. Now, I know that in many shopping districts around the US, you can bring Fido along with you to roam the streets. Some shops might even give him a treat for being such a good boy. Alas, much like Disney doesn't want you bringing your pets into the parks, they also don't want you bringing them into Disney Springs, unless it's a service dog who meets Disney's service animal criteria. This means that emotional support, comfort, or companion animals are not allowed in Disney Springs either. Now, doggos are allowed to hang out in select Disney World resort rooms, including pet-friendly accommodations in Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground, Disney's Yacht Club, Disney's Art of Animation, and Disney's Port Orleans Riverside. That being said, your bestest canine buddy might not want to be cooped up in a hotel room all day while you're out there having fun, and you might not want to ditch all the Disney fun to backtrack over to your hotel and take your pet out for a potty break all the time. So, if you are planning on bringing your four-legged friend along with you, you may want to consider booking them a stay at a doggy daycare in the area, or there's also the Best Friends Pet Hotel on Disney property. If you choose the Pet Hotel, you can choose from indoor or outdoor standard rooms, villas, and luxury or club-level suites. Yep, Fido can get a club-level suite just like you can. Talk about a bougie pet. But here's the really cool thing. You don't have to drive your pet over to the pet hotel if you don't have time. The Best Friends Pet Hotel can come and pick them up. The hotel offers transportation for a round-trip fee of around $25, which will service all the Disney hotels that have pet accommodations. Now, this rule isn't hot off the presses, but if it's been a few years since your last visit to Disney World, it might be new to you. As a proud soda goblin, I'm very familiar with the Coca-Cola rooftop beverage bar because this is where I can get a variety of sodas from the traditional stuff to the international stuff to even floats and flights and seasonal concoctions. But what I can't get here anymore is anything spiked. And that wasn't always the case. Back in 2022, alcoholic beverages were stripped from the Coca-Cola rooftop bar menu. Now, I believe the last time we ordered an alcoholic drink here, we got something called the Razzle Dazzle for 4th of July, but then it was mocktails from there on out. But if I'm being honest, I didn't really hit up Coca-Cola for its boozy stuff anyway, because sometimes all that Soda Goblin AJ needs is a pure Diet Coke with no strings or booze attached. So this change really didn't impact my enjoyment of the rooftop beverage bar all too much, especially since there are still so many other places to grab a great cocktail when you're in the Springs. But if you're looking for some specialty beverages that the whole family can enjoy, this rooftop beverage bar is where the soda party is happening. I always find myself caught between wanting to chow down on a really awesome Disney Springs entree at one of those stellar restaurants versus using up all my stomach space to snack around the Springs instead. But if I'm tagging along with someone during my Disney Springs day, then I don't have to necessarily buckle down on a decision because I can get the best of both worlds as long as my buddy is willing to go halvesies during lunch. Many of the Disney Springs restaurants are more than happy to let you split an entree with your fellow partner in crime so y'all can save money and have more stomach real estate for other sweet treats later on in the day. The one key exception to this is if you're ordering from a prix-fixe style menu. I know, that's kind of ironic considering you get a whole lot more food with a prix-fixe option versus a single entree, so the idea of sharing would seem a lot more appealing, but those restaurants tend to buckle down on the cost per person per multi-course offering. Now, if you are planning on dining somewhere that serves up food in more of an a la carte fashion, it's always worth asking if you can split a plate with your pal. More often than not, the answer will probably be yes. But here is my caveat to that, my friends. If you are doing that to your server, if you don't want 2 entrees, you just want one and you want to split it, please tip them as though you got 2 entrees. Don't just tip for the amount on the bill if you are taking up one of their tables and you have 2 people sitting there or 4 people sitting there or whatever, and you're not actually ordering enough food to justify that many people. Go ahead and tip as though you did. Now, there's this certain shot of adrenaline that you can get when you go to Disney Springs and learn that you arrived just in time to partake in happy hour, with half-priced apps and drinks aplenty. But some restaurants do require you to sit in their bar areas to actually take advantage of these half-price deals. If you sit at a normal table in the main dining room, you might not receive the same discounts. Just a few examples for you. Summer House on the Lake's Martini Hour is only available at their bar every Monday to Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. Martini Hour features items like $10 $10 martinis, $5 glasses of wine, $4 draft beers, and various elevated bar bites. Paradiso 37 has 2 daily happy hours, one from 11 to 4 and the other from 9 to 11. But the late night one is, again, for their bar area only. And Raglan Road's happy hour is only available at their outside bar on Monday to Friday from 11 to 5, featuring $6 domestic draft beer and $6 premium well liquors. Okay, told you those Disney Springs rules weren't that bad. Now, you know what you need to follow to keep you on the straight and narrow, or at least improve your visit if nothing else. Now, we've got lots more Disney Springs advice where that came from, so be sure to check out some of our other Disney Springs videos next, like our Everything You Need to Know About Disney Springs in 15 Minutes, which is very popular on our channel right now. And don't forget to pick up that free non-park Disney Day guide right now over at disneyfoodblog.com/resort day. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.